Speaking of birds and animals, we have another episode of TierZoo. Are horses OP? Oh yeah, butterflies. Shout out to butterflies. Butterflies can stay too. Everything else can go. Not gonna lie, everything else. But bees and butterflies can stay. All right, are horses OP? Finna go freeze in Canada in the winter. Yeah, that'd be fun though, I think. Where are they going? A private island with Jeffrey Epstein, so we can blow him up. In GTA, of course. Okay. Yo! Yikes. That was personal, I feel like.
Players have a wide selection of equipment to choose from when speccing their character. Teeth, claws, stingers, spikes, each weapon has distinct advantages and disadvantages in combat. Herbivore players tend to favor highly intimidating equipment like horns and antlers.
I'm gonna lie, this is hard. Like, this is actually kind of menacing.
In combat. Herbivore players tend to favor highly...
This is kind of menacing, bro. What you doing if you in the woods and you just see a deer staring at you head on like this? What you doing? Me personally, I'm running. I'm running very fast. Up something, because I don't think they can climb. Yeah.
Intimidating equipment like horns and antlers. In the African meta, things are taken to the extreme, with builds like the
god, bro, I'm so tired of the capybara. I mean, he's like, dude.
Elephant, rhino, and kid.
And the problem is, it messed up that song. Hold on, because now I gotta. This is so off topic for the people watching on YouTube, low key. But come on now.
The line started early for this block party and combo shoe launch in downtown Houston. So did the chaos.
Bro.
Different people breaking down the barricades.
You have no idea. You have no idea, bro. I literally played that snippet like every single day. And then I found out it was going to be on Don Toliver's album in 2019. I was so hyped. And Cardigan, too. I played Cardigan snippet all the time. And then it came out, Travis wasn't on it. I was like, okay. But then the song grew on me, and I liked it a lot. And then it blew up on TikTok, and now it's weird. Very sad, bro.
Buffalo, rocking some of the most threatening tusks and horns in the entire game. So you might be surprised to learn that one of the most successful builds in the African savanna is the zebra, a build with no obvious weaponry to speak of. So what is it about the zebra build that has granted it such a dominant position in the savanna? We'll answer that question and many more in today's video, which was sponsored by CuriosityStream.
Word!
To answer that question, let's zoom out a bit and discuss the incredible stats and abilities of the...
I ain't gonna lie, horses are mad strong, bro. You see these muscles, bro? Horses are yoked.
Entire equine faction, including zebras, horses, and donkeys. Let's begin with their stats. Right off the bat, it's plain to see that this is a highly mobility-centric build, with an above-average power stat to back it up, with slightly above-average intelligence.
Horsepower. All this polo on, I got horsepower. Pound of this cost 4,000. I'm making ratio with more showers. All right, anyways, bro. When I tell you, 2 Chainz had the best verse on that song, bro.
And fairly poor defense, HP, and stealth stats. At first glance, you might think that these stats belong to a rush-down predator, something like a wolf or eagle, something that can overwhelm its target with speed and power, and either finish the attack before the defender has a chance to counterattack, or weave in and out of the defender's effective range, chipping away at it or tiring it out. Clearly, stats don't tell the whole story here, as all equines are herbivores. So let's delve a little deeper into the abilities and strategies that horses and all their variants utilize to survive. Seeing as their highest stat is mobility, it's no surprise that an equine player's best defense against a predator player's attack is to run away. While not technically as fast as the max speed of a top-tier predator, horse builds are able to maintain high speeds for much longer, and because of this, builds like the big cat or bear have little chance of catching them without an extremely stealthy ambush. The horse's specialized hooves grant them a bonus to burst movement speed and allow them to ignore the movement penalties of rocky terrain. The likelihood of a successful ambush is driven even lower due to the horse's solid intelligence stat, which allows it to engage in herd behaviors such as individuals keeping watch to alert vulnerable teammates of approaching enemies. Taking shifts keeping watch is really important in a party of horse.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Players, because horses need to spend massive amounts of time grazing. See, horses did not spec into the ruminant perk, which means they can't extract nearly as much energy from grass as builds like sheep and cows can. This was an intentional trade-off to keep the build much more lean and agile than ruminants, enabling them to dash quickly and jump great distances. But because the amount of time they need to spend feeding with their heads down is around double that of an equivalent-sized ruminant, there's no way they'd be able to avoid an ambush alone. If they do get attacked, the chase begins, and this is where one of the horse's other core abilities comes into play: sweating. Now, I do need to address an inaccuracy I made in a previous video, my most viewed video to date, Are Humans OP?, where I say the ability to sweat is uniquely human. This isn't entirely accurate. Horses also have the ability to sweat in order to dissipate heat. However, they're nowhere near as efficient at cooling down via sweating as humans are, for one main reason: body hair. Sweat doesn't evaporate off of a horse's body as easily as it does a human, because sweat gets trapped in the hair on a horse's body. As such, humans still absolutely crush horses in terms of thermoregulation during distance running. But sweating is still an extremely powerful ability that massively reduces a player's loss of stamina during a run, and thereby greatly increases the potential distance a player can travel. Anyways, if during a chase, the horse player finds itself somehow unable to completely avoid an attack, that's when the other signature equine ability comes into play: their kick. Now, in relation to more typical combat moves, like biting, swiping, and stinging, kicking is generally seen as a rather janky attack style, mostly used as either a desperate combo breaker attempt, or the best option available to builds which haven't spec'd their characters to allow for better combat moves. Generally speaking, kicks don't
I ain't gonna lie to you. Look at the way bruh did the kick and then had his tail as the counterweight. I ain't gonna lie, if humans had tails, we would be like OP, bro.
As a rather
because we're already OP, but we'd be crazy OP if we had tails.
Janky attack style, mostly used as either a desperate combo breaker attempt, or the best option available to builds which haven't spec'd their characters to allow for better.
Me personally, I wouldn't let nobody hit me like that. That's just me though.
Combat moves.
Generally
speaking, kicks don't deal that much damage. They're fairly telegraphed and easy to dodge, and they can even throw the user off balance if they miss. However, if we take a look at the horse's kick, we see an entirely different picture. The horse's kick hits with a force of around 2,000 psi, putting it well above the power of a jaguar bite, and just a bit below the power of a crocodile bite. Both of those,
which I know y'all see, eating and stuff. This is for educational purposes, all right?
Builds are top tier.
Nah, for real. I'm not either, bro. I'm done.
Specifically because of their incredible bite damage. So having a kick of roughly equivalent power is extremely useful. However, plenty of large builds have no issue dealing damage. Moose, elk, wildebeest, and other large ungulate builds can threaten insane damage if they connect with a charging slam. However, attacks like that.
Are you like do you have a stable or something? You have a bunch of horses? Me personally, I would be very, very bad in a situation like that. I don't know. I'm just not an outdoorsy type person though. I love animals, but I don't really want to I don't want to have a sanctuary or anything. We have enough people doing that, man. Shout out to Amaranth and Maya, because they're doing that for us.
Incredibly telegraphed, and most players have a decent amount of practice dodging them. In contrast, a horse's kick has incredible frame data, to the point where it's basically unreactable if you're within range, which I should add can be deceptively far. This makes approaching a defending equine player a lot more risky than most herbivore builds. However, the horse's kick has synergies that increase its utility far beyond what can be explained by its base damage and frame data. When it comes to defending themselves from attacking carnivore players, equine builds are at a huge advantage. Let me explain. So, most herbivore builds have only two options when confronted with an adversary: fight or flight. Carnivore players know this, and tailor their strategies to take advantage of the defending player's limited options. When wolves hunt large prey, like elk, their main advantage is to break the defending player's nerve and frighten it into fleeing. They will not commit to an attack if the defending player chooses to stand and fight. However, they will continue to pressure it with bluff charges and fake
horse kicked by some yikes, dude.
Outs, hoping to bait out a defensive attack. However, as mentioned before, these counterattacks are slow enough to be dodged on reaction, quickly lowering the elk's morale, especially as the rest of its herd likely gets further and further away. It's only after a prey animal starts fleeing that these predators will actually try to deal damage by attacking the hindquarters to inflict heavy bleed buildup. In order to stop these attacks, most herbivores will once again stop and turn to face their attackers, which just resets the situation back to the first phase. Horses, zebras, and donkeys can completely thwart this plan of attack, as their kick grants them an extremely valuable option: the ability to counterattack while fleeing. since they don't
That's
need to stop and
hard.
face their attackers in order to deal damage, and because their kicks are harder to dodge than horn charges. Zebras have one of the
Okay,
highest
valid.
KD ratios against lions and hunting dogs in the game. While it might not
Yo!
damage, and because their kicks are harder to dodge than horn charges, zebras have one of the highest KD ratios against lions and hunting dogs in the game. While it might not be as impressive and showy as having huge horns or antlers, there's no denying that this
Yo, hold on a second, cause what is this dude is really out here.
not be as impressive and showy as having huge
that
horns or
skin
antlers.
hanging?
There's no denying that this
Yo.
strategy is extremely effective at warding off attacks and escaping danger. On top of all the other
Yo.
benefits, kicking also allows the equine
I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen a cheetah running from something.
effective at warding off attacks and escaping
Not for
danger.
real.
On top of all the other benefits, kicking also allows the equine player to keep its vitals well out of
Literally.
reach and isn't exposing itself to a critical hit counterattack like some horn users do when they attack. It does have its limitations though. Kicking backwards requires specific positioning, which, unless your character has 360-degree vision, will make your attacks less accurate. And on the odd
yeah.
chance that your opponent does get in front of you and
Yikes.
land a grab before you're able to turn away, your
Yikes.
options to fight back will be fairly limited and nowhere near as powerful. Now, I do want to mention that
Makes
unlike
sense.
many ruminant herbivores, which only have lower teeth, equine players do possess a full set of upper and lower teeth that are able to deliver quite powerful bites. So they aren't completely
Oh!
herbivores, which only have lower teeth. Equine players do possess a full set of upper and lower teeth that are able to deliver quite powerful bites. So they aren't
Horse
completely
body
helpless when
slamming.
facing an enemy head on. But nonetheless, the unidirectional nature of their strongest attack option does mean that some counterplay is available. Next, let's discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the different variants of the equine build.
Okay.
We'll start with the horse, the most well-known of the bunch. Horses undoubtedly have the best base stats of the group, with higher power and more HP being the most obvious things that scale with size. They've also got the fastest top speed. However, perhaps even more importantly, the
I'm not gonna lie, and this is kind of her fault. But I feel like every time I see like anything like this, I just think of Megan Thee Stallion. It's her fault though. Number one, she named herself that. And two, you know, hold on, cause I gotta pull it up, bro. I gotta pull it up. Y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. Yo, no, not that one. I need the Nardwar one, bro. I need the Nardwar one.
Do do do. Oh, do do.
Whoever edited that, yo, they wrong for that. I ain't gonna lie.
However, perhaps even more
They're wrong for
importantly,
that,
the
bro.
horse's higher intelligence stat enables cross-species team strategies, which can lead to some incredibly broken combos. Zebras have a slightly lower base stat total, although this change isn't really enough to affect their playstyle. They're still perfectly capable of escaping attacks using their speed and endurance, and punishing overly aggressive enemies with a devastating kick. In addition to all this,
he
though,
got
the
'em.
zebra's unique stripe pattern grants it a few extra bonus perks. Because this pattern helps break up their outline and obscure their position, especially when grouped up, attacks against zebras incur a slight accuracy penalty. Surprisingly,
okay.
this debuff even applies to insects, resulting in zebras taking significantly less damage from parasites than other similarly sized builds. In exchange, though, the zebra's intelligence stat is a fair bit lower, to the point where zebras are unable to engage in the same team combos as horses. Donkeys
Yikes.
are a bit of an outlier group, with the lowest power stat of the group. They have the highest intelligence stat.
Bro, I think it's Pinocchio's fault, but every time I see a donkey, bro, like, they're just, like, why is bro so stiff?
Lower, to the point where zebras are
Yo,
unable to engage in the same
bro,
team
it's
combos
so
as horses.
stiff.
Donkeys are a bit of an outlier group, with the lowest power stat of the group. They have the highest intelligence stat, but tend to actually prefer solo play. They can
my
be trained
God.
to become a useful party member, but they aren't naturally suited to this style of gameplay. And although they're quite capable of dishing out serious damage with their kicks, donkey mains
Bro, this animal's crazy. Look, I'm sorry. I know I'm Gen Z, but I do not like Shrek as much as everyone else. And I only watched like part of the first one. I've literally never really seen Shrek like that. It's not my thing. But that's because I grew up watching Cars. I feel like you either watch Cars as a kid or you watch Shrek. There's a few people that watch both, but it's mostly one or the other. And I was a Cars type of guy.
the lowest power stat of the group. They have the highest intelligence stat, but tend to actually prefer solo play. They can be trained to
you know
become
the
a
Muffin
useful
Man?
party member, but they aren't naturally suited to this style of gameplay. And although they're quite capable of dishing out serious damage with their kicks, donkey mains also tend to favor the bite move in combat, a somewhat poorly optimized build in my opinion. It's no surprise that despite horses and zebras having quite solid matchups against both canid and felid opponents, donkeys end up experiencing a fair bit of difficulty, in part due to their smaller size, but also because maybe they just don't realize the potential power of a well-placed kick. Of the three main equine classes, it's a tough call which one I think is the most viable. I think they're definitely all at least high B tier. Personally, I do think horses
I use the old Disney type of kid. I like some old Disney movies, but like not too many. Like Pinocchio cool. I like I'm thinking like old too, like not even like recent old. I'm thinking old, like stuff from the 40s, 50s, like let me see. Old Disney movies. No, bro, that's 90s old. That's not old. Then V8 not for it. But hold on though, cause I'm thinking mad old, but I'm gonna get to the 90s though. One sec, bro. Let me find some. All right, Snow White. I didn't like Snow White, bro. That came out in 1937. Yo, that's crazy. All right, Pinocchio cool. Fantasia's fire. That's one of my favorite movies. 1940 has some good movies. Bambi is cool. Dumbo's all right. Kind of mid to me. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Cinderella is so overrated. I do not like that movie. I don't like the OG Robin Hood, like the live action one, but the animated one's fire. The OG Peter Pan is fire. Sleeping Beauty is okay. It's kind of cool. Lady and the Tramp is fire. I know Old Yeller came out in 1957, but I'm only talking animated. I'm only talking animated right now. 101 Dalmatians is fire. Let's see, Fantasia. No, bro. No, it's the one where like Mickey had the magician hat and then was like doing stuff with the water. Y'all never seen Fantasia in music class, bro? The score is amazing. Lion King, Aladdin, and Jungle Book. Are you talking 90s? You talking 90s? All right, hold on. The DVDs, word. All right, let me put y'all on though. If we talking 90s, let me see. Because 90s is the best era for Disney when it comes to Disney Channel. It was kind of mid, but movies, some of the best movies ever. I'm doing live action for these two. So we got A Bug's Life, goated. James and the Giant Peach, goated. Flubber, Ants. Let's see what else we got, bro. Maybe I'm thinking 80s too. Oh man, The Parent Trap. Hold on, Parent Trap was so fire. Mighty Ducks was okay. Honey, We Shrunk the Kids and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. That was fire. Hunchback of Notre Dame was pretty cool. Toy Story, obviously. Lion King, obviously. A Goofy movie, fire. Literally. Now we're talking princess movies. I didn't like any Disney princess movies from the 90s, bro. Like Mulan, Pocahontas. Keep those, bro. I'm good on them. They didn't really do much for me. And I'm not gonna lie, one thing that they messed up with the 90s too is they did all these goated movies, bro. All these goated movies. And then they dropped sequels. The sequels were so trash, like Pocahontas 2, Hercules 2, Lion King 2. They were all so bad. The sequels were like horrible. So bad, bro. It's sad. Aladdin 2, like they did all of them. They were so trash. Let me do 80s and 90s. There's some other ones from the 80s they left out, I think. Or maybe I'm just thinking 2000s. I don't know, bro. Yeah, like all these, like Lion King 2. Hold on, what's the one I'm thinking of, bro? It's like, hold on, it was like based in Egypt or something. What's the name of it, man? I'm literally scrolling till I find it, because it's gonna bother me if I don't find it. If y'all know what I'm talking about, like, you know what I'm talking about. But I cannot find it right now. Tarzan was alright. That is, you know, it wasn't really my thing. Same with the Jungle Book. It was cool, but a Goofy movie is goated though. High key. All the Goofy movies are fire. You know, Goof Troop, like, come on, man. Those are goated movies for real. Nah, not Aladdin. Not Aladdin. It's Emperor's New Groove. Emperor's New Groove. That one. I think that's 2000s, but still. But if we talking 2000s though, those are the best ones. Those are the best ones, man. Literally. Like Meet the Robinsons, Bolt. I didn't watch Pirates of the Caribbean, but still fire. Holes, Sky High, Ratatouille, Wally, like Up. Come on, man. G-Force, Princess and the Frog, Lilo and Stitch. Bro, is so many good movies. And that's not even talking about all the Disney Channel original movies too. Those was hard, bro. Those was hard. All right, let me finish this video, bro.
Take the top spot.
Nah,
and
G-Force
I'd
is
even give them the rank of
fire.
low A tier. See, despite
G-Force
being
is
originally
hard.
from the North American server, horses have successfully established invasive populations all across the overworld, including places in Africa that even zebras have difficulty surviving in. This is the premise for the incredible documentary Stallions of the Namib Desert, which chronicles the descendants of a small group of horses abandoned by World War I soldiers a century ago. This documentary is available to watch right now on Curiosity. Good luck out there.
Shout out to TierZoo, man. W video, as always. He's always so interesting, man. Mikey. Number 10 on trending, too. You love to see it, bro.